Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Nate's Pink Bookshelf. My name is Nate Denise for those of you who are new to the channel or who just happen to stumble across this video. And today's video is going to be my April and Owls wrap up, and I'm super excited about this. So before I get into my Owls wrap up, I'm going to run through the other books that I read that were not a part of my Owls. But if you want to see my Owls TBR video and what I decided to take, I guess, for my Owls, click the eye on screen to go to that. But we're going to go into all the other books I read. So I have Magic Required here, which is the third book in the Wizards for Hire trilogy by Obert, Skye. This is a middle grade fantasy and it is so amazing. I gave this 5-star rating. I loved it so much. I love Ozzy. I love Ren. I love, is it Charles? I think it's Charles. I love Siggy. I love the whole crew, and I think this did an excellent job of wrapping it up neatly. This is an art copy. I do want to get the hardcover because it's so gorgeous. I think this cover is beautiful. It gives me sort of Halloween vibes with the purple and green and the pops of like yellow gold, but this was amazing. I loved it. I definitely recommend the entire trilogy. This is definitely a trilogy I see me giving to my son to read or any of my children to read, and definitely a middle grade I would definitely read over and over and over again because it is amazing. Ozzy is such a strong boy. And the ending of this made me cry because there was an event that took place in the first book which resulted in Ozzy wanting to find his parents, and I was satisfied. Let's just say that I was very satisfied with this ending. So we have this. Next we have Meet Me at Midnight by Jessica Pennington. This is the... Okay, so this is a YA contemporary. I gave this 3.75 star rating, and it was cute, it was funny. It was sort of enemies to lovers, I guess, if in a sense the two teens, they're both like star swimmers. They pretty much dislike each other. They have to go away with their families to like a vacation home. I think it's like a vacation type of spot, a cabin or whatever it is. And they go back and forth with their banter. They go back and forth with the pranks that they play on each other. It's pretty cute. It was pretty simple. I did read another book from her. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the book that I read from her. Do they have her other book titles in here? No. I read another book. I'm trying to see if I can get the name of the book. No, it doesn't tell me. There was another book that I read from her, and I'll put it on the screen. But this was cute. It was adorable. I do like the book without the dust jacket, though. I love that blue color. But I give it a 3.75 star rating. YA contemporary. When it comes to YA contemporaries, I'm not really fond of them. I am going to be 29 in a month, so that's why YA contemporaries don't do much for me anymore. But it was cute, it was adorable, it was funny, quirky, so I gave it a 3.75 star rating. The next book I read was The Pharaoh's Daughter by Mesu. This is going to be biblical fiction. Biblical fiction is basically a subgenre of historical fiction in the Christian realm, in which it follows a biblical event, biblical people, and things like that. So this is the story of Moses told from the perspective of the Pharaoh's daughter. In this case, it's Anet. And I gave this 4 stars. It was really good. I liked the writing, I liked the characters, but I wasn't invested in the characters' lives. Like, I just didn't care for them too much. If things happened, I didn't really care. There were scenes that made me a little emotional when it came to the main character, Anet, but I didn't really feel invested in the characters. And as you can see, I did tab it up. So yeah, we have that. The next book I have is going to be another Christian fiction. This is going to be Christian dystopian sci-fi. I don't really know. It's like futuristic, but it's Soul Harvest by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. This I gave 4.5 star rating. I love this. This is the fourth book. Yeah, the 4th book in the Left Behind series. I'm enjoying this series immensely. So far, the first 3 books were 4 stars. This was a 4.5 star rating for me. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It follows... I can't really tell you what it follows because it's the 4th book in the series, but the Left Behind series follows Rayford Steele, Chloe Steele, which is his daughter, as well as Cameron, who they call Buck, pastor named Bruce, and some other characters named Sion and Carpathia. And it pretty much takes place during the rapture, when people are taken, obviously the rapture. If you haven't read Revelations, read Revelations in the Bible, and dealing with that. So it's pretty much the story of those left behind when the rapture took place, and it is so good. It's action-packed, it's drama-filled, it's comedic, it's sad, it's heartbreaking, it's everything I love in a book, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the series. So yeah, I gave this 4.5 star rating, and I cannot wait to read the 5th book next month, or rather this month because it's May. So I can't wait to read the 5th book, but yeah, 4.5 star rating for me. The next book I have is going to be Lark's Labyrinth by Cathy Spellman, this chunky monkey of a book here, and I gave this 3.5 star rating. This is... Okay, so it's a story of a woman named Dr. Cat. Is that her name? Dr. Kate? C-A-I-T. Kate? Cat? Not sure how to pronounce it. But it's a story of her, and her going to seek out the spear, the infamous spear that basically pierced the side of Jesus on the cross. And it follows the, is it the Nazis? Yeah, the neo-Nazis, CIA, the Vatican, and secrets of the global manipulators. Her daughter's name is Lark, so Lark's Labyrinth, and it follows Dr. Kate, her daughter Lark, and her sister while they're on the run, and you know, finding out the secrets. It was jumbled up story. It was good. I thought it was interesting. I enjoyed Dr. Kate. I enjoyed her daughter, but I felt like it was all over the place, so I did give it a 3.5 star rating. I will be rereading this to annotate because I did not annotate. I had to read this quickly for a review, but I do plan to reread this and dive further into it to fully enjoy the story, because I did enjoy it enough to give it a 3.5 star rating, but I couldn't give it a full 4. So yeah, I'm not really sure how to classify this. I'm gonna just say it's a mystery. Who knows? But it was enjoyable, so 3.5 star rating. Okay, the last book that I read that was not a part of my owls is going to be Palace of Silver by Hannah West. This is a third book in the Syria Chronicles, which is sort of a fantasy retelling YA series, and I've been enjoying it. I gave this 4 stars. I think I gave 4 stars. This follows 4 queens. I can't really give you much information about it because it's based on the first one, which is Kingdom of Ashenbriar. I think that's what the first book is called. Yeah, Kingdom of Ashenbriars is the first book, and it follows Valerie from the second book, and it continues on from there while focusing on the other 3 queens. It was good. It was action packed. I enjoyed it enough, so yeah. All right, so now on to my owls. So I have officially completed my owls. I went for Alchemist. I completed all 12, which I was so excited about. So I'm going to go in the order of the prompt or the classes that are on the paper. So the first one was Ancient Runes, and for that it was Heart Rune, to read a book with a heart on the cover or in the title. For that I went with The Bride Test by Helen Hoang. This is the second book in the Kiss Quotient trilogy, and it has a heart here on the cover as well as on the spine, and I gave this 5 stars. It is a adult contemporary romance, and I loved it so much. It does deal with autism, of course. Kai, what is his name? Kai Dipe, I think that's how you say that name, probably wrong, but Kai Dipe is autistic, and he basically really doesn't show emotion, doesn't show feelings. There was funerals he went to, he didn't really feel anything for it. He's very much, to other people it seems like he doesn't care, but he has autism. So his mother decides to go find him a bride. She goes back to Vietnam to find him a bride, in which she finds SMA. SMA is very much a lowly, humble girl, basically, in a sense, and his mother really enjoyed her, so she takes the opportunity to go back to the States to meet him, to marry him, and it's just their romance, and it's so cute. At first I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, if I was going to give it 5 stars, but this was amazing. Now, it does not top Michael and Stella from the Kiss Quotient. I don't think anything can top that, but this, the steam was there, the romance was amazing, and I love the character development, the character growth, both between Kai and SMA and their relationship as a whole. I did enjoy seeing Michael and Stella. It made my heart warm. And Quan, I cannot wait for his book to come out, and his book is going to be pink. I'm so stoked for that. And I know I mentioned this before when I first hauled this book from Book of the Month, that I was hoping that the book for Quan was going to be pink, because I noticed they have like a color scheme of the kind of teal color with the yellow and the pink, and it is. I was right, so kudos for me. But yeah, I enjoyed it, so I completed my Ancient Runes class, so good for that. The second class was Arithmancy in its magical qualities of number 2, balance and opposites, read something outside of your genre, and for that I went with this historical mystery. I'm not a historical fiction person, can't stand it unless it's Christian fiction, and I'm not a mystery person unless it's Christian related, and I'm just now getting into the genre. So I went with Jackaby by William Ritter. This is the first book in the Jackaby, I think it's a series. This I gave, oh my gosh, I'm looking for my rating right now. I gave this 3 stars. I listened to the audiobook with this. This really much reminded me of a Sherlock Holmes, but a YA version of it. It was very much fast-paced. I found that I was flying through the story, but I wasn't completely sold and invested in the story. I think Jackaby was excellent. I loved, what is her name? I always say her name wrong. Abigail. Abigail Rook, I enjoyed her a lot. I enjoyed the sort of paranormal, supernatural aspects to it. I thought that was epic, but I don't know, the ending was really anticlimactic. Again, I do own the second book, so I'm definitely going to continue on. It was really good. Definitely gave me my Sherlock Holmes vibes because I'm a fan of Sherlock Holmes. I've watched the TV series, I've watched the movies, love him so much. I haven't read the books, so I had the books to read. But yeah, it was amazing. So I gave it 3 stars. Can't wait to continue on and see how I feel about it. So yeah, we have that. Okay, then for astronomy is night class. Read majority of this book when it's dark outside. For that, I read Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. I think that's how you say it, no Yaiba, Volume 1 by that author. Can't pronounce it. But that I gave a 5 stars. I love Demon Slayer. I've watched the show. It is amazing. It's my heart, okay? It is my heart. We're gonna leave it there. It's a bomb anime. So if you haven't seen the anime, go watch the anime. This manga pretty much is the same as the anime, so it was like pretty cool to read it, even though I've watched the series like twice already. So we have that. Okay, so the next prompt was Care of Magical Creatures. This one is Hippogriffs, creature with a beak on the cover, and for that I went with the Nexus Mirror by N.E. Michaels. This is the first book in the Chronicles of Enlai. It is a not YA, it's a new adult, I guess, new adult fantasy. The author did contact me back in January to read this, and I'm just now getting around to finishing it. But 4.5 star rating. This was epic. I love Raiden. I think that's how you say his name, Raiden. He is freaking hilarious. Maximus, I loved him. I loved baby girl Sarah. And I also enjoyed the other girl. Oh my god, I cannot remember her name for the life of me. But she played a major role in the story. I'm trying to remember this girl's name, but I can't right now. There is another character, because it follows a bunch. Alaya, I think is how you say my name. A-L-I-A, Alaya. She was tough. What? Tough. I still don't get exactly what Raiden is. Is he human? Is he from Enlai? Like, is there a correlation between the two? I definitely do want to pick up the sequel because that ending killed me, literally. And there was like so much drama, so many secrets, so many lies, so much backstabbing behind things. It was epic. So yeah, 4.5 star rating. Love this so much. Okay, so the next one was Charms. This one was Lumiose Maxima, white cover, and for that I went with A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is a reread for me, white cover of course, and this is going to be adult fantasy. I loved it. The first time I think I gave it 5 star rating. The second time around I gave it 4.5. I still love Kel. I still love Lila. I loved Reese. It's amazing. Holland, I can't stand. Like, this made me hate Holland even more. The twins, we don't like the twins. But this basically follows Kel, who can walk between the 4 different Londons. There's Red London, White London, Gray London, and Black London. Black London is the only London that is closed off because they became evil. In a sense, they let magic overrun them. Which London is it? Red London is a London that Kel is from. Red London is basically, it has the highest amount of magic. They're using magic. Everyone has magic. It's a beautiful place. Honestly, Red London, when I hear about it, it reminds me of Emerald City. Instead of it being emerald, everything is red kind of thing. Now, I always get confused with Gray London and White London. Okay, yeah. So Gray London is London with no magic, and White London has magic, but it's dying out, and that is where Holland is from. Delilah is her name, but we call her Lila for short. So Lila is from Gray London, and they meet due to some unforeseen circumstances. And then Holland comes into the picture. It's crazy. Okay, it is crazy. I loved it. Still adore this series, and I can't wait to continue rereading the series over. I will be going back to annotate in this book because I listened to the audiobook the second time around, but great read, 4.5 star rating. Okay, the next one was Defense Against the Dark Arts. That is Grindelows, probably saying it wrong, book set at the sea or coast, and for that I went with Red Seas Under Red Skies by Lynch. This is adult fantasy. This is not your typical fantasy because there's not a lot of magic involved in the series, but this took me a minute to get into. I love the lives of Locke Lamore. I love Locke. I love Jean. I love Caldo and all the crew. I love them all. But for some reason, it took me a minute to get into this. And his writing does become jarring because he has this thing where he writes in the past and he writes in the past and in the present simultaneously, so each chapter is split. But I just wasn't completely invested in this. I did give it a 4.5 star rating, but I wasn't completely invested in the characters. It wasn't until the end when the battle happened and things got revealed and people were dying that I was like, oh my god, now I'm invested. But there was just too much going on between Jean and Locke in this, okay? There was a time when I thought Jean was going to betray Locke, and I was a little hurt because that's how they started the story, and then they ended it off. I don't know what's going on. Like, Locke cannot die. Simple as that, okay? He can't die. We're just gonna leave it there. But thoroughly enjoyed it. 4.5 star rating. Hopefully the third book I can get into it without a problem. But I did listen to the audiobook, and again, this takes place on a pirate ship, a boat, whatever you want to call it, around the sea. So there we have it. Okay, so the next one was divination. It's a third eye. Assign a number to your TBR. Use a random number generator to pick your books, and I did do that. I picked between 3 books, and the one that won was Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Gave this a 4 stars. This is a reread for me. The first time I rated, I gave it 5 stars. Second time around, 4-star rating. Because I was able to go into this more analytically. But I still love Carew. I love Brimstone. I love Akiva. I love Issa. I love the entire crew. I love the Chimera in general, and the Angels, and just the story behind it, and just learning so much about Carew from this was amazing. The ending, of course, made me happy. So yeah, we have that. Following that, we have Herbology, and it's Membelus Membletonia. Read a book with the title that starts with the M. For that, I went with Mistborn, aka The Final Empire, but my book says Mistborn, so I went with it by Brandon Sanderson. This was actually a part of the Cosmere Along Read Along for this month. If I'm not mistaken, this was a book pick for this month. Right? Let me just check again. Yeah, this is the book pick for April and May. So I already completed it in April, so I don't need to read it for May. But yeah, the first book in the Mistborn series, but I enjoyed this enough. If I'm not mistaken, I gave this, what did I give this book? Because it took me a minute. I gave it 4.5 star rating. So I enjoy Finn. I love Kelsier. I love Doxson. I love the crew. The truth behind the Dark Lord, is it the Dark Lord? The Lord Ruler, excuse me. The Lord Ruler was insane. I loved watching Vin grow in her abilities, and I love the magic system. I think that is awesome. I've never seen a magic system like that. It almost kind of gave me Full Metal Alchemist vibes slightly, but yeah, I love the magic system is based off of metals, like different metals, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm kind of sad with what happened to Kelsier, but I'm kind of happy for Vin and Ellen. So I'm excited to go and continue on with the Heroes of Ages. I think is the second book. But yeah, this was cute, adorable, and amazing. So gave this 4.5 star rating. The next one is History of Magic. For that, it's Witch Hunt, a book featuring witches and wizards, witches or wizards. And for that, I went with The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. This is a middle grade fantasy, and this was actually really cute. I did go and give this a 3.75 star rating just because I wanted a little more. But I adored this book so much. Luna is such an adorable little girl who has to learn to deal with her magic. Her grandmother, what's her name? Zan, yeah. Zan was interesting. And finding out the truth about who Luna was and her mother and everything like that was quite mind-blowing. The truth about the town, I was not expecting that at all. But yeah, this was really good. Really good. Definitely could see me rereading it again. I did annotate like my favorite quotes in the book, but I didn't go all over the place with the annotations. But this was cute. I definitely do see me rereading this again for like a middle grade readathon or something like that. Enjoyed it. The next one is Muggle Studies. It is book from a perspective of a Muggle, which is a contemporary. So for that, I went with Lorelei James's I Want You Back, the first book in her The Want You series. I gave this a 4.5 star rating. It's it's adult contemporary romance. And this was amazing. I love this. It follows Jackson. Is his name Jackson? Yeah, Jackson and Lucy. And it's a second chance romance. They do have a little daughter. What is her name? It doesn't say the daughter's name. Mimi. There we go. Mimi was adorable to me. I thought Mimi was a little sassy and cute. Sometimes I felt like she needed a little butt whipping, but I thought it was cute just to watch Lucy and Jax really mend their relationship, become friends again, and then fall back in love with each other. It was steamy, it was hot, it was amazing, and I loved it. And I love the family aspects of it as well, and but seeing how Jax matured in his relationship with his family, his daughter, and with Lucy, and him coming to the realization of his faults. I thought that was amazing. So this was a really fun read. Definitely do see me rereading this again. I did listen to the audiobook with it though, so yeah. Okay, and the last two classes go together because they're both in a series. So the first one was Potions, Shrinking Solution, a book under 150 pages. And for that, I went with A Girl from Jussara by Hettie Ivers. This is a prequel novella, so the 0.5 book in the Lark Evolution series. And I gave this a 5-star rating. I love this. This follows Lupe as well as Alcaeus. I think that's how you say it. I'm always saying his name is Alcaeus, but it's Alcaeus, I think, the way it's spelled. And it's just, I loved it. It basically talks about the birth of Jussara, and gets you introduced into the Rencino pack as well as the Sebelta pack. And yeah, I loved it. It's short read. It's like 90-something pages long. If I'm not mistaken, let's see. Trying to flip. Yeah, so not even 90 pages. So it is about 86 pages long, and then the rest of this is a kind of sneak peek of the first book. So I loved it. 5-star rating. Then we have Slip of Fate. I read this for Transfiguration. Is Animagus Lecturer book series that includes shapeshifting. So this is the first book in the Real Life Evolutions by Hettie Ivers, Slip of Fate. The first time I read this, I gave 5 stars. The second time around, gonna go with a 4-star just because I found some issues and stuff with it. But it is still a good read. I love this. It is adult urban fantasy, I guess, because it takes place in South America. Urban fantasy. Basically they are werelocks. Werelok is a combination of a warlock and a werewolf. So these are werewolves with magical abilities, and it follows Melina, who gets kidnapped and taken to South America as a sort of bargain tool, and she meets the Rencino pack, which is Alex, who is the alpha, Alcaeus, who is the elder, and you have Kai, who's a doctor, you have Remy, and you also have, what is girl's name? Alessandria, yeah. And it's Melina finding out that there are people who can shapeshift into werewolves in the world. She basically gets treated like trash. She finds out that she is the mate of the alpha of the pack, but the alpha and her just hate each other off the go. It's literally like an enemies to lovers romance. I love the series. I have completely read the entire series, so I definitely wanted to binge reread it over again. And I did annotate in this book, but I have a review that I did years ago. I'm gonna find it and just click the on screen to go watch that. It is an old review. That was when I first read the series. Loved it so much. There are 6 or 7 books completely out. I don't think the prequel is available anymore, I heard, but this series is like everything and more to me. I love it so much, and yeah, 4 stars for me the second time around, but I did enjoy it. So that was the last book for my owls. So as you can see, I completed my owls. So excited. So I will most likely be partaking in the newts. It's in August, right? August is a newt. I didn't partake in it last year when I partook in the owl, so fingers crossed I can do it this year. I know it's going to be a hassle because I'm going to have to take the newts for Alchemist. But I only have to do 6 of the classes apparently. Yeah, I would have to do 6 instead of all 12, but I have to get an outstanding for each of them except for in astronomy. So we're gonna start working on that TBR for that. But yeah, that is it. I enjoyed my reading month for April. April was really excellent. I'm looking forward to May because in May I had a lot of books on my TBR for the Asian readathon as well as for Tome Topple. Now for Tome Topple, I did switch up my TBR just a little bit. I took out 1 book because I'm currently reading it and I'll be finished with it before Tome Topple, and then I added in 3 other books. So I went from having 3 books on my Tome Topple TBR to now having 5 books on my Tome Topple TBR. So yeah, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. So I think that's it for this video. If you are not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you have a wrap-up video, let me know. Leave your links down below because I would definitely like to check them out. But other than that, that is it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.